Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the channel World of Wrestling, here today to talk about WWF Raw is War November 24th, 1997 review. It's been a while since I've done a retro review on WWF, so let's get into it. This was actually a decent show. Match-wise, nobody cares. There was really nothing on this card that was entertaining match-wise, except for the main event and the WWF Tag Team titles that changed hands, actually. That was the opener match. It was the Legion of Doom defending their tag team titles against the New Age Outlaws, Billy Gunn and Road Dogg. This match was actually decent back and forth action. Near the end, though, the Road Dogg and Billy Gunn ended up going ahead and cheating to win. Road Dogg ends up hitting, I think it was Animal, or it was Hawk who got hit in the back of the head with the WWF Tag Team Championship belt, and Billy Gunn pinned him for the 1, 2, 3, or I think it might have been vice versa. Whatever the case it may have been. I watched in the afternoon while I was doing my job, doing my work and everything, so I took some time off and watched some of the WWF Raw is War episode, and then finished it up later on after work. So I didn't really watch it in completely in one setting. I watched it in broken up parts. But bottom line, this was an okay match. Nothing to cry home about. It was decent and okay, but, you know, it is what it is. So Road Dogg and Billy Gunn became the new WWF Tag Team Champions. To kickstart the show, we actually opened up the show with Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and a guy by the name of Harvey Wimpleman, who was replacing Rick Rude. Rick Rude, unfortunately, eventually went off from D-Generation X, went to the WCW, and was unannounced to why he left or anything like that. He just kind of just disappeared, and that was that. Harvey Wimpleman got booted from D-Generation X, and D-Generation X seemed to be making a sincere feeling. Well, like, at least Shawn Michaels was feeling that he was kind of regretful of what happened. He believed that him and Bret Hart should go ahead an hour or two and shake hands and move on with this with a sincere apology, so we think. Later on in the show, though, we get Shawn Michaels mocking Bret the Hitman Hart by using a midget to act as Shawn Michaels while wearing a mask. This was fucking hilarious. Really, this was a downright disgusting heel move that was comedic at the same time. Very funny shit. They're actually the ones that started the midget jokes when it came to making fun of their adversaries. So during this segment, we had Shawn Michaels go ahead and had Triple H do a narration basically about Bret Hart and who he was and what he is and everything else. And we all knew he was short-tempered, he was short-sighted, but we didn't know he was small in stature. So, short in stature. So, but like always, Bret Hart would give the old college try and try his best to knock down Shawn Michaels, but like always, he was put on his back staring at the lights. So he shoved the midget down on his back, and then Triple H did more narration during this segment, an hour two, to kickstart hour two, actually. And he goes ahead and he says, so At this point, we now see Shawn Michaels put Bret Hart in the sharpshooter. And he goes ahead and he puts him in the sharpshooter. And he turns the midget over. And the midget starts saying, I quit, I give up, Shawn Michaels is the best, Shawn Michaels is the best, and he asks him all these questions, is he the icon, yes, Shawn Michaels, blah, 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 and he says, who rules the wrestling world, and he says, DX, DX, and he's still tapping out, the whole fucking thing was whacked out, fucking crazy. During one segment, during their very first segment, though, Jim the Neidhart came out. And he addressed Shawn Michaels and Triple H for what they did. And they asked him some interesting questions. He said, where is your entire Hart Foundation? I know Bret Hart's home. He's dealing with this loss and he's no longer with the company in a couple of days and yada yada. But where's everybody else? What about Davey Boy Smith? He's off dealing with surgery. Oh, okay, all right. I know from faking injuries. So he openly admits that he actually got injured and wasn't really that injured to begin with. Going into WrestleMania 13, he was dodging Bret Hart in that sense, if he's really admitting it and it's true. He then asks, where's Owen Hart? And he goes, Owen Hart's home and distressed by what happened to his own brother and what's going on here in the WWF. And he goes, that's interesting. He's home, distraught, and completely saddened by the whole situation. Wow, this is becoming more and more fucked up as you ask more questions and so forth. So, he's like, let me tell you something. You've been with Bret Hart, the Hart Foundation, one of the greatest tag teams in the world. And I came into his company 10 years ago, which meant he came into the company in 1987. He said, the greatest tag team in the world was the Hart Foundation. You and Jim the Neidhart. Not no Davey Boy Smith, Owen Hart, Brian Pillman, all that stuff. It was just you and Bret Hart. That's it. And you guys were the greatest tag team. But the one thing that you never got from being part of Bret Hart's team is the respect and the adulations that you deserved. And you were always a second fiddle, a sidekick, a nobody. That was just his muscle. So he said, let me put it to you this way. There's a lot of air and opportunity between the two of us. So let me pose a idea to you. Why don't you come join D-Generation X, where you can be part of something that's going to be great? And that is pretty much what happens at the end of the show. He joins D-Generation X for a small period of time. He actually helps Shawn Michaels win his match against Vader. And they end up kicking him out of D-Generation X immediately after that. Chyna went ahead and low-blowed him while he was celebrating in the ring with Triple H and Shawn Michaels. And they displayed their total lack of, uncaring, unadulterated, completely slimy, backstabbing, low-down shit you can possibly think of to a guy who wanted to join the group that he offered to join and ends up getting kicked out anyway. So he ends up getting kicked out. Vader actually later on in the earlier in the show actually got something thrown in his eyes by Goldust and someone else, which I don't know who when that took place. I think that was edited out on Peacock, which really blows. And they actually talk about this. I'm going to have to go back and watch this, actually. So after the match with the WWF Tag Team titles, during the break, LOD beat up security guards trying to get them out of the ring. Out comes Goldust in a wheelchair, or wheeled down to the ring by a nurse wearing a surgeon's mask. Michael Cole conducts the interview. Goldust says that the broken arm has spread to the rest of his body and he is now suffering from paralysis in his limbs. He can't help it. Goldust even has Michael Cole cross his legs in a weird moment. He asks the nurse to rub alcohol on his shoulder. Goldust says the alcohol is the only thing that soothes his soul anymore. He thanks the people for their letters and prayers wishing him well when Vader comes out wanting to know why he got hit in the arm with a hammer last week, and who can really blame him. When Vader tries to turn the wheelchair over, the nurse squirts the rubbing alcohol in his eyes, and Goldust beats on the blinded Vader while the nurse disrobes to reveal herself as Luna. Referees and agents head down to keep them separated. Left his wife and family for that. You've got to be kidding me, is what JR was saying. I can't believe this. I actually did not catch this. I don't know if this is a part that was removed from this episode, but it was only an hour and 20 minutes, which is a little unusual. Usually they have it go for an hour and 25 to an hour and 30 minutes. And this was actually like an hour and 20 minutes, and that's it. So I'm not sure what the fuck that was, but I missed that part and don't remember it. I'm thinking that was removed. I'm going to have to go back and watch that episode. That was really fucked up because they mentioned that on the main event, and I don't remember seeing that at all. I was watching it during my break, so I don't fucking know. That made no sense. We also get a Sergeant Slaughter video package showing us what a beast this man was 15 years ago. And out he comes to meet Michael Cole for an interview. Hunter Hearst Helmsley won't be facing Commissioner Slaughter at In Your House D-Generation X. He'll be facing the old Sergeant Slaughter. When he puts on the hat, his voice changes and he starts actually calling Helmsley a slime and a maggot. Anyway, he tells Helmsley that they will meet in the boot camp match. Fayetteville doesn't know what that means, though, but you would think Fort Bragg would at least pop for the name. This is an impassioned promo from Slaughter. This is what the writer is writing based on his review of the episode. He starts referencing one too many Vietnam war movies from the 1970s. But yeah, he basically goes on a long drawn out segment discussing about that and what he's going to do to Triple H and so forth. We get Brian Christopher defeating Flash Flanagan. Nothing special here. This is for the WWF Light Heavyweight Championship tournament to finish out the quarterfinals. We already had a thing with Shawn Michaels and the Bret Hart midget segment, so I'm not going to recover that. Ken Shamrock beats Savio Vega in a decent matchup. I actually like this match. This was good. And then we had the Nation of Domination in the ring, and Rocky Maivia, now going by the name as The Rock officially, takes the mic away from Michael Cole. He's got the IC Championship belt over his shoulder like he's the champ, and somebody is playing with the lights and audio. Rock talks about how he's the people's champ. This is the first time he ever mentions that. He talks about how he's going to kick every jabroni's ass and prove that he's the best Intercontinental champ in the world. And then all of a sudden you start seeing Rocky Sucks starts appearing on the Titantron, and everybody is very confused as to what is happening. He sends the Nation of Domination to find out. Next thing we know, Steve Austin's on camera inside the production truck playing with the controls. This was actually rather funny. A lot of stuff being said. He was telling the production guy, hey, why don't you make yourself useful and wear something that makes you feel important, like wearing a 316 hat by Stone Cold. And he starts playing with the knobs on the thing, and he tells him, the next time you go ahead and you look at your beeper and you see 316, you know your ass belongs to me. So all of a sudden the lights go out. The lights come back on, and The Rock looks at his beeper, and it says 316 based on the emotional look on his face, The Rock's face. And then he turns around, and Austin's in the ring giving him a Stone Cold Stunner. And all of a sudden, everybody's freaking out. He manages to get his championship belt anyway. And the Nation of Domination run off with The Rock while he's still carrying the Intercontinental Championship. He said, well, don't worry about it. You can keep Austin tells Rocky to enjoy his Thanksgiving, and he says, here's a bird for you. He just shoots him the bird. That was fucking great. So then we get Crush versus Jeff Jarrett, but this match doesn't take place because of some circumstances based on Jeff Jarrett's contract. He was supposed to have his own personal locker room. He didn't really get that. That was part of his contract. He was also expecting better food from catering, which he didn't get. He ought to go talk to Titus O'Neil about that now that he's the head chef of catering in WWE. But anyway, so yeah, he basically says, I'm not taking the match until we work things out and meet an even ground here on the negotiations of my contract and live on both ends of the contract, on your end and on mine. So that match doesn't take place, and he ends up getting disqualified anyway, and Crush wins the match. All of a sudden, Kane comes out. He destroys Crush with a tombstone pile driver, and the destruction of Kane continues, waiting for a response by The Undertaker to give him a match one-on-one. So that's pretty much what takes place there. Moving further down here on this, we had Shawn Michaels and Vader close out the show, as I already talked about. And the match ends with Shawn Michaels giving him a sweet chin music to the back of the head, and then a sweet chin music for good measure to the face, and getting the 1, 2, 3 after distraction, and coffee thrown in his other eye that he could see out of. So that was how the match ended. The rest of it was history from there. As I already mentioned, Jim the Neidhart gets nailed in the crotch by a low blow from China, and that's how the show goes off the air. So that is pretty much your overall review for this WWF Retro Raw is War November 24th, 1997 episode. So keep an eye out for the Impact Wrestling review for tomorrow. I will be watching that episode that took place on Thursday last week. I did not watch the episode before that one, so I'm not quite sure what's going on there. I'm a bit behind on everything. I do apologize for the ones that do tune in for Impact Wrestling. I will try to continue to cover that content as much as I possibly can. I'm just really busy with other things. I'm about ready to move into a house, so things might be a little bit tight for time for me on doing content on the channel. So if you guys start to see less, please don't unsubscribe to the channel. It's only because I'm making changes in my life, and that's the only reason why I am delivering less content to you guys. But everything else, like AEW, SmackDown, I will try my best to keep up with that if I can. It's not that important, but anything AEW related, the Extreme Rules pay-per-view definitely will be taking place. I believe that's this weekend. I don't even know if it's fucking this weekend or not. Who gives a shit? The show's a fucking piece of shit. But hey, when you got a pay-per-view that's 3+ hours and I can sit here and shit all over it with you guys, why the hell not? So anyway, guys, at this time, you know what to do. Hit the like button if you liked the video. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. And leave a comment down below. I'll definitely get back to you on that. And I thank you guys very much for watching. Have a great night, guys. Bye.